So we've got this 1986 square body truck, and we were going to put the clip on it that came off of this 78 square body truck. We already did that one. If you want to see that one, it's in another video. Just check on the list on our channel. Maybe I'll put a link in the description, I don't know. But we've got that clip that's going to go on here. I'm just going to show you, this is going to be kind of a quick run through. We need to get this truck back on the road. That's why we're putting this rusty blue clip back on, because I have a job that this truck needs to go to in a couple days, and so that's all the time I've got to get this thing back together and running and driving. So, you know, these YouTube channels have these kind of weird time limits on things that you think, well, why are they putting a time limit on that? You know, they got a shop or something and they can just throw the truck together in their spare time or whatever. Well, this is my work truck. I don't have any other, it's got all my tools in the back, so this has to go back together in order for me to make money. So let's get this old clip on this new truck and see what's involved and all that. So I've already taken the wire harness off of the front clip on the 78 truck, and I cut them both at a specified point. Basically, I just pulled it taut, lined it up with this back point on the power steering box here, and snipped them. So all I have to do is splice them together. I already spliced that one together. Gonna splice these together. Basically, the wires in these generation trucks are pretty much the same colors and everything. You just got to match them up. And the reason I'm doing this is because the harnesses are a little bit different, and the lengths and things of the little runs are a little bit different. And it was just easier, rather than fighting with it and, you know, putting different plugs on here, because these plugs have these different things for the round headlights on them. And this one is wired a little bit different for the horns that are on that. Anyway, what we're gonna do is just splice the old harness into the new one. So that's the route I chose to go with this. Also, before we can plop the front clip back on, we have to get some of our accessories back on. I'm putting the old accessories, old alternator and everything on here on this truck, because this is going to be the one probably that gets sold or I do other projects with. So that's what we're going to do. So it's got the old pulleys, just got to mount the belts, and then the engine will be okay. We're going to put the same radiator back, the new radiator back in this one, because, well, this is wired for the electric fans and the relays and everything, and that's what we're going to do. So the electric fan relays and harness is staying with this. We do have to move we have to install the wipers. I'll vacuum out the cowl since it's been open here. No point letting it collect junk that doesn't need to be in there. So we had to put those wipers in. I don't know how it's going to work. I might have to drill like I did on that one, because the 2-hole wipers are the older ones and the 3-hole are the newer ones. So I might have to drill for those. That's fine. We'll go through that and just do a quick template maybe, or show you how we did it real quick. And then we can start putting on the core support and the fenders and things, which are rusty and probably have to find some bolts for, because I believe, if I recall right, I had to cut the bolts off of this one. They were so rusty and everything, but that's fine. We'll put new bolts and probably find some old rubber bushings to put in there, because again, I don't care too much about this truck. It just needs to be solid and run. If anybody really wants to do anything with it, it's easy enough to replace the core support bushings and everything. Fortunately, they're not rusted out or anything. A little bit, kind of like they were on that truck, but that's okay. I'm keeping the 80s style bumper, since I'm not swapping the bumpers over. If you want to see what the old bumpers look like on these newer style front clips, it actually fits really well. It's got a nice gap around there, I actually prefer that because it sticks out a little bit past the edge of the truck. Gives you a little bit of safety there. Not safety, but gives you a little bit of extra protection there, whereas these are tucked in really tight to the fenders. So I know it'll go that way. I don't know if it'll go this way. I don't know if the old fenders will fit this bumper. We're gonna find that out too. This is gonna be a learning experience, because just like I never put a new clip on an old truck, I haven't put an old clip on a new truck. But I think it's gonna be a little easier because we don't have to modify the cowl like you do when you go from an old clip to a new clip for the hood hinges and things like that. So I think that is going to be very straightforward, and then it's just going to be bolting on fender liners and fenders, and I'm basically just going to blaze through this as quick and fast as I can, because this truck needs to get back on the road, and I'm going to try to film where it needs to be filmed, but I'm going to try to film any sticking points or things that are difficult. I'm going to make sure to film those so that anybody who wants to learn from this hopefully can get a little bit of a learning experience. Oh, there's a bolt down in the cowl. Oh, there's a nut down there. Well, we're just finding all kinds of stuff. Okay, I'll put these over in the spare parts pile. And let's get cracking and start with splicing these wires and getting the front of this engine back together. I won't bother to film that since that's boring, just wire splicing and turning bolts, and we'll get back to you when we actually have something to show you. Got the wiring hooked up and laid up there for now. I have the wipers installed. They're not aligned at the same, you know, horizontal that they would have been on the older truck, but I think that's okay because this is just a guide, and it doesn't really matter how that's rotated as long as it's in the hole right, and you know, it can rotate in there. Be okay. Got the motor wired up. I believe only the low speed works on this, but from what I recall. So I believe we're ready to start putting this back together again so that I can actually drive it. So I'm gonna get this old rusty core support. I think I'm gonna take this bottle off and maybe use it on here because, well, it's just a better arrangement. So I think I cut this thing off, but a good bit of it's still there. And now that I'm looking at this core support might even be more solid than the 86 core support that I put in here that's a little rotted out. I don't know, wouldn't that be ironic if this front end, except for the hood, ended up being, well, I know it's not more solid because the fenders are blown out and there's rust around, you know. Well, anyway, that's why I was doing this whole thing to begin with. Anyway, let me find some bolts. I think I've got some bolts and things. I can rig this up and rig it up. That's what I said. Yeah, so fender liners and core support. Yep, let's see what we got. All right, where are we at? Okay, everything you just watched me do was fenders, core support, and the front. And you can't really tell on the video, but I had a little bit of time fighting these in around the bumper. So ideally one would take the bumper off. The bumper, yeah, it looks great around here, except it doesn't really fit here because the fenders come out like faster and further than the newer style fenders that are really tucked back in. So as you can see, it's hitting now, and will be, because I don't care that much about this truck. This truck is rapidly turning into a hot rod style rat rod build. But not only did I have a hard time fighting these fenders in, but if this one wasn't rusty, I'm not sure that this one went in easy, but if it wasn't so rusty, it would have had a hard time going in. This one over here, why is that so loose? Oh, somebody's got to tighten that screw up. This one over here, I had a bear of a time fighting in because it doesn't have the giant rust hole. So I had to kind of angle it this way. And anyway, long story short, don't use the newer style bumpers with the older style front clips. It doesn't work. Next step is we're going to put the hood on, and then we're going to start putting the electrical radiator and all the engine compartment accessories back together. And then we'll be ready to test fire this thing and see what I've forgot to reconnect. I have to find the horns that were bolted on here. I don't know where they went. I got to test all the headlights and electrical and everything when I get the battery in. The battery tray, well, oops, somebody messed up that wiring there. That's supposed to go under that, I think. Probably run that around because of the rust. Nope, can't do that. Too late now. I don't know where that's supposed to go. Oh no, maybe it is supposed to go here. Got a clip there. I'll replace that. And I think this runs along the top. I can't remember. That's fine. It's actually I like that much better than this one that runs through the front of the core support and down and then back through. This one is much more accessible when it runs across the top like that. I do not know yet how we're going to hold this radiator in. I know this will bolt on, but I was hoping to adapt this to use on this truck because I don't have the proper top radiator supports for that. I don't know. This light I had to glue back together because somebody broke it taking it off because they were really rough with it. That's fine. The grill is zip tied in because although all the screws and clips and everything are there, the plastic clips that go through the core support, if I can find, there's one in the middle for you. You can see that the screws screw into. They're all gone, and I don't feel like sourcing replacements at this point. So, you know, cable ties for the win. And this headlight is cable tied in because this ring was broken. That's fine. It's held in place really good. Don't know if it works. I probably should have checked to see if it works before I put it in. It's a dipstick up. Hope it didn't get water in there. So what was I talking about? The battery tray. There was a piece of wood laying across here when I got the truck. We may just go back to the piece of wood. I don't know. There's really not much I can do to save this battery tray, and I'm not getting a new one in this rusty old rig. But other than that, I mean, the front end, considering all the rust and everything, it did bolt back on, and it's solid. So that's all I was looking for. That'll get it back on the road, and that's what I need at the moment. So let's get cracking with the next stage, which is the hood and under hood compartment stuff. Hood is on. I I've made a battery tray out of a piece of wood, like was in there, well, in that truck when I got it. In this clip when I got it, is what I should say. Starting to sort the wiring. I have the radiator set in position. This is taller than a stock radiator, so I guess what I'm gonna have to do is not use that. I guess I'll, you know, zip tie it tight to the cowl like I did in the other truck. Just much as I hate to use zip ties, in this case, that's what's gonna happen. I mean, if I cared about this truck, I would fab up some metal brackets and some things, you know, but I don't care about this truck, so that's not gonna happen. Starting to get the wiring sorted over here. We have got to put the horns in. I don't know if they're gonna fit right with this. This radiator is bigger all around. We'll figure that part out, and we've got to screw our relays and things here to the cowl, but I believe everything is kind of hooked up where it's gonna go. Oh, I gotta get that transmission line. I guess I gotta cap this because the other one went from the heater core to the radiator. I don't know, figure something out for that, and then we'll be pretty well close to done, I think. We'll know when we fire it up and, you know, parts start falling off, I guess. So let me oh, I need a coolant catch bottle. I think I'm gonna use the one that was on this truck originally. Oh, where did I put it? Where did I put it? Oh, there it is. This isn't, I don't think it's a factory one. Oh, that's just some lovely coolant water there. They just kind of had it stuck to the fender. I think factory in some of these trucks, it went up like up here on the firewall and went there or something. I would put it higher than the radiator, so that would make sense, but I don't know. I think I'm just gonna screw it to the fender like it was before. Let me get some of these things fastened down. The battery, a piece of wood is very thick, but the battery actually does clear the hood, so barely, but it does. So let me finish tidying up the electrical and getting these lines and things together, and we'll see where we're at. Okay, I think I got everything hooked up again. We're gonna find out when I try to start it up or turn something on and it starts spurting liquid or shooting sparks. I don't know. I got the battery charging because I think I let this one run dead. I'm sure that'll be fantastic. All right, we need to test the electrical stuff on this. The headlights didn't work on the other truck, but I think that was the switch. I think the running lights and stuff worked. Oh, let me grab the keys and see what happens. Okay. Well, I got one light over there. That's better than I had. We got parking lights. This one's probably burned out or something. It's been abused. So the high beam works over here. Okay. Here's the turn signals. A turn signal. Alright. Wipers only work on low, which I knew from that truck. There we go. I have the fan set to run all the time because as that relay system heats up, it tends to not turn on again. So there she's running with the old pulley system. There's a little bit of wobble to it. Huh. Interesting. Our steering pump has some wobble to it as well. Not sure what that signifies. Probably means some bolts are missing. I don't know. just the reservoir that's vibrating. Add some more water. Well, there she is in all her rusty glory. The body gaps are bad because over here, when I took this off, this side was rust welded and I had to cut it. And I ended up prying a little bit too hard and stretched it. Somebody who really wanted to could, you know, squeeze that back together again, but I don't care, I'm not so inclined. This thing is crispy anyway. But it's there and I'll hold on. I think if I drive it, I'm gonna strap the hood, you know, just to keep it, you know, in place. All the electrical works the same as it did on the other truck. The wipers even work on high now, they just don't go at high speed. And that's the motor. That's a common problem with these as they age. High speed slows down due to either resistance in the motor or, you know, that kind of thing. It's just, if the motor were replaced, it would be fine. So we got, well, what is it? We got one headlight that works on low beam, one headlight on high beam. We got parking lights and turn signals. And we got low speed wipers that don't park themselves because this is a different park system apparently. And well, it's slightly different because it's the washer system is built into it. And when I took it apart, the cap fell off. That has the park switch in it, and I haven't fixed that. I don't care. You can park your own wipers, you know, just by adjusting the switch. So there it is, a 78 front clip on an 86 square body GMC. And of course we've got this 86 clip on the 78, which if you want to see that, there's another video on the channel. There's a dent in the fender I did not see before. That's not supposed to be there, is it? I don't think so. It's supposed to be smooth all the way down. That's fine. I don't care about dents. She's very rusty and blown out, but it's there and it's solid, and it will get me to jobs and back until I can get that truck running and driving. So at which point this truck will probably be for sale. I might put the blue truck bed on it, I don't know, or maybe I'll just sell it as a chassis cab. Not sure yet, but there she is. She's ready to go. If you made it this far in the video, we appreciate you watching. We appreciate all of your input, comments, questions. We really appreciate subscriptions, helps the channel grow. Any likes, comments, questions you have, leave them down there below. And as always, thanks for watching.